Marriage is called a yichud. Yichud means a unity. And a unity happens when two opposites become one. It's very interesting that the Talmud says that Jews are connected to the Levana, to the lunar, to the moon. Goyim are connected to the sun. And it's explained that the Goyim have a relationship with God like a man to a man. The Yidden have a relationship with God, a man to a woman. And that is a whole other perspective. It's a whole other world. It's a relationship that is based on polarization, on two opposites. That's the reason why there's attraction. That's the reason why it's two opposite genders. That's the reason why there could sometimes be a lot of friction, because it's opposites. On the other hand, if there's no friction and they're really similar, which some people might say, what's the point of marrying someone the opposite? It would have been so much easier for me to get along with someone that is so similar. Maybe you'll get along very well, but it's like a roommate. You have a roommate in college or in yeshiva or wherever you are. There's no attraction, there's no polarity. And that polarity is, on one hand, the greatest blessing in the marriage. That's what creates that unity, that becoming one, v'hoyu lebasar echad, the unity of the opposite, the reconciliation of the complete polar opposite, versus, together with that could also be the greatest cause of all the friction there is. And that's really, in my humble opinion, like after a lot of thinking and a lot of experience and a lot of talking to a lot of people, I think that is what we would call in Yiddish the chap of the depth of marriage, the depth of a real relationship, and why it's a cause for so much friction. And this also includes in it the reconciliation and the cure for that friction. It's actually very interesting that Chassidus talks a lot about the idea of essence, of atzmos. And Chassidus always says that essence is revealed by the reconciliation of opposites. Anyone that has more experience in the study of Chassidus will realize that Chassidus is full of reconciliation of opposites. Even in Tanya, like already in the second chapter in Tanya, there's this footnote of the Alter Rebbe where he reconciles between the Maral and the Rambam. They're at each other's, it's not nice to say that way, but they're at each other's throats in terms of philosophical argument that they have. And the Alter Rebbe is all about the reconciliation of the opposites. And like this could almost show in every parsha, reconciliation of Yichud Eloi, Yichud Tato, Tzadikim, Balei Tshuva. There's full of reconciliation in Chassidus. And Chassidus explains that is the idea of the reconciliation of the opposites is because dafka, when you take opposites, that reveals essence. And that's also the way Chassidus explains in the famous long mimer that the Rebbe Rashab said prepared for the wedding of his son, Samach Samach Nun Zayin. He explains over there the great happiness that happens by a wedding is because there's a reconciliation of opposites, a unity. The real unity is from the opposites. And that brings down this unbelievable simcha. And also in Chassidus in general, Chassidus says that everything that we do, that's the reason why we say, according to Kabbalah, you should say it before every mitzvah. In Chabad, the custom is to say it once a day, and we think about all the mitzvahs. L'shem yichud kudsha b'richu u'shchinte. For the sake of the unity of kudsha b'richu, which is God's masculinity, u'shchinte, and God's femininity. And that's really the key. It's, to a certain extent, the hardest, the deepest, but it's the hardest when you don't see the depth and you don't get the depth of it, and it's the deepest And it's the most special when you do get that depth of that unity.